We're at the Arc Hotel in Ottawa, and came here to charge my phone with my colleague, and we went into, your name is?
David Krayden.
David Krayden. And what brings you here, David?
Well, I've been covering the Freedom Convoy now for 8 days. And I've been covering it for 2 U.S. publications, Human Events primarily, and as well as townhall.com.
And any interesting stories that you're following right now?
Well, right now I'm trying to discover how the convoy is going to respond to the City of Ottawa's demand that they have they're demanding a legal response now. They're actually, it sounds like a class action suit actually against the truckers, and I'd like to know how they're going to justify this in the first place, and secondly, how the convoy is going to respond. I think I hope whichever judge gets it, throws it out, because I think it's absolutely absurd. But secondly, I'd like to see how the convoy responds. That's the reason I'm here today primarily. The second reason I'm here is because we're entering week 2 of a convoy that most people didn't think would last a weekend, and then we're into week 2. And I was here from day 1.
So, being a professional journalist, you know how to ask questions. So, if you're trying to resolve this, what kind of questions would you position yourself from to ask the government officials, and making a logical case for keeping this and not doing saying the civil class action suit or whatever it was, right? Like, what kind of questions would you like to ask them? How is it that this, or what about that? And
well,
sure you'd make a good lawyer.
I would say primarily, what brings on this sort of class action suit? What have these people done wrong? They have essentially exercised their democratic right of protest. First of all, there's been no evidence of any racist symbolism throughout this protest. I have not seen a single bit of evidence of any Nazi flag. The only evidence I've seen has been a staged photo on Twitter, which is obviously staged because it was done by the Ottawa River, where none of this protest occurred. And secondly, I would also say that they have not been honking their horns all night long, which the Mayor of Ottawa has claimed. And I have talked to a number of people who have said no, they're not honking their horns all night long to keep people awake. And thirdly, they have not interrupted businesses. I'll tell you who has interrupted businesses in this city. The Mayor of Ottawa, Jim Watson, the Premier of Ontario, Doug Ford, and the Prime Minister of Canada, Justin Trudeau. They have interrupted businesses in Ontario, and in the city of Ottawa by rolling lockdowns. That's who should be sued for interrupting Ontario businesses, not the convoy who's rolled in here for the last 10 days.
What kind of any other additional questions you would like to ask government officials, or maybe from the organizers, or people that are visiting here? I know as a journalist you write stories, but if you were to get them on camera, what kind of stories do you think you would like to have been told or to hear from?
I would like to know why Justin Trudeau has compared this convoy and this rally to a Nuremberg rally when I don't see any Nazi symbolism or any racist imagery, and why he went to a Black Lives Matter rally 2 years ago and kneeled before that rally, when that is an organization that has incited violence against police officers, who said "fry the pigs" at one rally, and has encouraged looting, has encouraged torching of government and private enterprise buildings, and has actually encouraged violence and actual looting of buildings, and has encouraged an estimated billions of dollars of looting and an incredible damage against government and private buildings. And this is what Justin Trudeau stands for. In the last 10 days, there has been not a single building, not a single enterprise, not a single government building, not a single private enterprise torched, looted, or desecrated. And that includes the Terry Fox Monument. There was a Canadian flag inappropriately hung around the neck of Terry Fox. If you go to that monument today, you will see flowers around that monument. So all of this is fake news by the liberal media in Ottawa, as usual. And these are moronic talking heads who say the same things over and over again, as instructed by the talking points by Justin Trudeau. And this is all nonsense, complete nonsense.
In telling a story, there's always a big picture. I've heard from the ground, and it makes sense that people are doing this not just for the freedoms, but for the children, the children's dream, the next generation. Do you have any grandkids or children? And if so, what would you like to tell them and the children and the next leaders of the world? You're journalists, you know how to communicate. You know how to ask questions. I'll give you a moment here, because that would hopefully inspire them.
Well, I don't have any grandchildren, but I do have children. And I don't want children under 5 getting this vaccine at all. There's absolutely no necessity of that. It's complete nonsense, and it's just greed by the pharmaceutical companies to demand that. But what I do want for children, including my own, is a country where there's freedom. I remember a country where there was freedom of choice, where we had a freedom to choose whether we wanted a vaccine or not. We all make that decision, and the government is making our decisions increasingly for us. And that's not freedom. And we don't have a country anymore where there's freedom. And we reached a tipping point in this country where people came from all corners of this country. From the far east of this country, from the far west. And what's wonderful about this protest is I see people from Quebec and I see people from Alberta embracing each other. I see First Nations, I see Indo-Canadians, I see black, I see white, I see homeless people, I see middle-class Canadians embracing each other because they love freedom. They love what Canada is supposed to be about. It's a freedom of choice. It's about freedom. And that's what Justin Trudeau is taking away from us inch by inch, incrementally, and this is what he's using, this pandemic, to take our freedom away. He's using this COVID-19 pandemic to steal our freedom. And I am saying no. And we are saying no with this convoy rally. This truly is a freedom rally. And this is why we're saying no. This is why all of these people are here saying no. It's enough is enough.
Any final positive thoughts to sign off on here?
I have never seen such solidarity among so many different kinds of Canadians. So many different kinds of Canadians, of class, of race, of ethnic origin, even of politics. This is united, and I've said this to my friends of the left, not only in Canada, but in the United States. I said this to Naomi Wolf the other day, who I never agreed on very much, but I said this has united the left and the right because we're both saying enough is enough, because we agree that our basic fundamental human rights are being undermined by big government and big pharmaceutical, and it's time to say enough.
They need to go back towards Hunt's Ferry, cross over there and come in.
Yeah, so if you invite